Hi, my name is Chris Coates. I am doing my Teach 1 assignment on our project control assignment, and this is for George Mason's HAP 360 class. For this assignment, we take a sample project and a list of events and we enter it into a project management software. In this case, I'm using Microsoft Project and I recommend using it. So the purpose of this sample project is just to successfully administer a medical survey to patients, and it gives more specific details for that. The project is planned to take 84 days to complete. This number is based off the number that's given automatically for Microsoft Project. To get that and to make it simple, under the task mode column, you want to make sure all of those are set to auto-scheduled. And then after revising the project, after we set certain events to be completed, and it took a little bit longer than expected, and that time was adjusted to 105 days to complete. You can tell if a task is estimated or concrete by the little question mark next to it, and also a check mark to the left, but I will give more details on that in the next slides. So this is what the schedule should look like at first. All the duration times have a question mark next to them because they're still technically estimates. We haven't actually started and completed anything in the project, so those remain that way. To the far right, you can see the predecessors for each task. Task 3 has a predecessor of 2, which just means that task 2 must be completed before that one can be even started, which will be important later when finding the critical path. To the far left, under the column that has a lowercase I in a blue circle, that will show us the completion of tasks. A check mark will show up there once we continue with the project and we complete tasks, and the date is updated and everything like that. Another helpful detail is, so above all the regular tasks, I had made kind of a bigger super task called survey project. If you enter that above all the events that we put in from the sample project, and then you indent everything underneath it, it accumulates and automatically adds up the duration for the entire thing. And this just makes things a lot easier. So this is what the schedule should look like after it's revised. We've marked task 2, 3, and 4 as completed. And you can tell by the check mark under the I column. To get those to be checked, you double click on a task, and within the window of options that it gives you to modify that task, somewhere in the middle to the left, it will have a percentage complete form, and you can just set that to 100%, click OK out of the window, and then that will be checked. And you'll also see a result on your Gantt chart to the right. You'll be able to tell the difference between those completed tasks and tasks that aren't completed yet, which will be helpful. Also, the question marks have disappeared from the duration numbers because they're technically now completed. So to calculate the critical path, Microsoft Project has a built-in function that makes this a simplified process rather than trying to manually determine what the critical path is. So among the top option windows where you can select things like task, resource, report, go to the view tab, and somewhere along in there, I think to the right or in the middle, there's an option called highlight, and you open up the highlight drop down and you select critical. And once you do that, the tasks in your task view it'll highlight the critical tasks in yellow, and this just makes finding the critical path that much easier. And after doing that process myself, these are the critical tasks that make up the critical path for this given project. So here's a view of the Gantt chart for this project. Thankfully, Microsoft Project automatically works up this Gantt chart while you're inputting tasks, and there's not a whole lot of work that goes into developing it. It just kind of shows up. But there are some modifications you can make to make the Gantt chart look the way that you want it to. So if you look for the first 3 tasks, which are technically completed, it might be hard to see, but there is a defining darker blue line in the middle of those, and those show up because we set the tasks earlier to be complete when we added those check marks that in return adds these defining lines to the tasks that are already completed, which just helps give a visual of the progress of the project. And also, there's a lot of different modifications you can do to this view. As you can see to the top left and right of the picture, I added the start and finish date. If you double click anywhere in the Gantt chart view, it brings you to a place where you can set things to display certain information either above, to the left, to the right, or below elements within this Gantt chart. And by elements, I just mean like you can set it so each particular bar, each blue bar displays something, or you can have it so the dates are set for the beginning and the end, like I have here. There's certainly not enough time to go into depth of everything that you can do with Microsoft Project, but there is likely a way to do what you want with it, which makes it a really great tool. So that concludes my Teach 1 on this assignment. I sincerely hope that this was helpful and beneficial to anybody watching it. Microsoft Project is great. Here's just a slight introspection on how I think it's useful. There's definitely a learning curve to softwares like this, or at least Microsoft Project in particular. There definitely was for me, but pretty soon after getting comfortable with it, it just becomes this really, really great resource and tool for managing and planning projects, and I highly recommend using project management software to anybody. Thank you.